My name is Jeremiah Todd, and this is my highly anticipated 2021 in the bag. Sit back and relax. Let me give you a tour of my rig first. I got that 2017 dynamic disc cart with a camo Latitude 64 E3 bag. That's rolling on 10-inch Dayton's, gold baby, luxury at its finest. Not only does this baby have aftermarket rims, but I installed a thick boy cushion to the seat to ensure I didn't get roids in my old age. That's not referring to steroids, that's referring to Hemis, my friend. You might be saying to yourself, I thought you were sponsored by Innova based on your abilities and how great you are on the course. I'm sorry to disappoint, but early in my career I realized that I couldn't be constrained to just one sponsor. I really needed to focus on sponsors that could improve my game as a whole. You'll see some of these sponsors in the right corner. I carry about 32 discs when I'm out on the course with this cart. However, I'm not going to tell you about all of them today, as we're just going to focus on the ones that are special to my game. Let's get into one of my favorite discs, the Gateway Wizard. This putter has been with me for the last 5 or 6 years. I love it in the pure white plastic. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that Josh Anthon hasn't switched to Gateway to be able to use this disc. These babies are stiff. There is nothing flaccid about these bad boys. The only issue is you really have to show them who's in control, or they will get up and roll. They are a true heat seeker for metal. The face mask, the pole, even the band, chain outs, everything imaginable. If there's metal, this baby will find it. I carry 2 putters for approach shots as well. My favorite forehand upshot disc is the Richard Wysocki Glow Pig. This baby has a thumb track on it, which some people don't know, but that actually gives you +2 dexterity, especially when you're doing the 2-finger salute on the bottom. For backhand upshots, I have to go with the Discraft 5-time zone. This baby is a slick daddy. That Z-line plastic actually skips up to the basket whenever I'm out to 150 feet or so. I love just being confident in this disc, skipping up to the pin. I know the 4-time zones go for like $100, but I would actually rather know that I have a chance at being a 5-time world champion versus being a 4-time. And those discs I've seen fly, and they fly exactly the same. Let's move on to mid-ranges. I'm gonna skip over this really quick. I carry 4 mid-ranges in my bag. Ultimately, they're just for show, so people think that I'm a well-rounded player, because I live by the ancient code. If it ain't a driver, why fly it? Moving on. Let's get into the meat of my game. If I want to bomb off the tee, then I reach in the bag for one of my 2 twin Ricky Raptor Destroyers. These Star Plastic feel really good in the hand, especially for forehands. It gives me the ultimate grip, and they go forever. As you can tell by kind of this off-white color, this bad boy has seen some things. Some trees, some roads, some water. The only thing it hasn't seen is an ace. This orange one's the exact same run, it just is newer, so it has more stability, and really it's just a heat-seeking missile. I do carry its stepbrother in the bag, the Saki bot that came out last year. These are really great. It has a little bit more stability than those Raptor Destroyers. However, they have a lot of the same flight characteristics, and it feels just as good in the hand. Next on my favorite distance driver, the Wraith. I carry 3 different versions of this in my bag. I put this Halo Wraith in my bag after I won at a Titan tournament last year, and by win I mean I cashed, and by cashed I mean I got 10th place. But this baby is the most overstable Wraith in my bag. Not only does it look great, but this thing flies. It's a bomber. This next orange Wraith has the Huck Lab stamp on it. If you look really close, you can tell though that this was not dyed by someone that was Huck Lab approved. However, we all know that when I bring it out, it makes the competitors tremble, because the one rule of disc golf is if you have a cool stamp, that equals less strokes, especially if that stamp costs you more money. This last Wraith of the 3 is my favorite. This baby just stays in the bag because it makes me feel like a bionically enhanced super soldier. That's right, the man, the myth, the legend, Master Chief. This Glow Wraith is so fun to throw. It's actually a little bit more understable than some of the other ones I throw, but really when I can crank on it, I know that it's always gonna come back, and that Master Chief logo on there just gives me a boost of confidence. Rounding out my high-speed drivers in the bag is my Star Boss. I use this baby for rollers because it's a speed demon. I throw a lot of forehand rollers, lay them down, let that baby ride, especially in lower canopies, or when I just want to show off and do a, hey, watch this. When I say this baby goes, this baby goes. Whenever I need a more understable high-speed driver, I turn to the Strike. In this case, I actually had a Strike for a really long time, and I played Emporia. I grip locked it, threw it over a 4-lane highway, and when I got back to KC, one of my buddies, Jake, actually gave me his that he didn't throw any longer. Jake, you're a real patriot, giving me this nice flag stamp. This Strike is also really good for my backhand, is I don't have a lot of backhand arm speed, you know, like my mom calls it, a noodle arm. But if I really get on this thing, I can get it to turn, I can get it to glide a long way, and then before it fades. The last high-speed driver in my bag is the Star Corvette. This is not for the faint of heart, as this baby goes 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Even though this thing's flight rating is a 14.6 -1.2, if I really crank on it and get it kind of turned over, it won't come back. This disc I really only use maybe once every 3 rounds, but when you need it, it really comes in handy. Just like a Corvette though, it's super fun to throw, but it takes a lot of touch as it can get out of hand real fast. Let's get into some of my slower distance and fairway drivers. First on the list, if she wants to eat, she's gonna eat. The Champion Monster. This thing has been in my bag for quite a while. I didn't use it for a long time because I actually was kind of scared to use it. It's so overstable. But as you really work with it, know which shots to throw, which shots to kind of lay off and maybe disc down, then this is the shot. This disc really does become a staple in my bag. Whether it's windy, a still day, a snowy day, a rainy day, this disc dependability is something that I can always count on. This is a great disc for beginners. I'm really not sure why they don't put it in those beginner 3-packs. Just like a lot of Facebook disc golfers, I too love the Nate Sexton Glow Firebird. This Firebird is a 2019 and has been in my bag for quite a while since it first came out. As you can see, the stamp is almost gone. I have a few more on the wall here, but ultimately I love throwing the 2019 out of all the runs I've thrown. I've thrown everything from the 2017 all the way through the 2020. I haven't thrown a 15 or 16, mostly because I'm not rich, but even if I did have one, I probably wouldn't throw it just so I could resell it in a few years. This disc though is awesome. If you haven't picked up a Nate Sexton Firebird, you definitely should if you can get your hands on them. When there's shots that I don't want to throw a Sexton just in case I'm gonna lose it, I throw a standard 12-time Champion Firebird. This thing has a little bit less stability on it, but it has that same predictable fade. It also has a little bit of turn if you really crank on it, but ultimately it's just an overstable disc that you can really crank on. I love it. If I have a shot that still needs a little bit of speed but more glide than the Firebird, I turn to my Thunderbird. This Champion one though is actually the Thundervant. If you haven't heard of these, Innova printed a run of Thunderbirds but accidentally printed the Savant stamp on here. So then they did an over stamp with a cussing bird and the word Thunderbird written over it. I thought it was a fun disc, but at the same time, Thunderbirds have always been a staple in my bag, especially with my slower arm speed. I can get these things to glide a pretty long way, but always know that it's gonna fade back at the end, which is really great. The last disc in today's In the Bag video goes to the brand new in my bag Champion Mamba. This disc is actually only been thrown twice as of the last 2 days. I've always loved how the pros could do a hyzer flip. Just throw it on a big angle and have it stand up and ride a long way. But with my slow backhand arm speed, I was never able to do that. So I was talking with my friend Alex the Jungle Jung, and he said the Mamba would be the way to go. I just got this 2 days ago, but I already love it. Even with my arm speed, I can get it to kind of stand up, ride a little bit to the right, and then finish in the left, just barely at the end. So this is a disc that I'm excited to be using, but if you're new and you really want to get something that stands up and has a lot of turn, the Mamba's -5 could be for you. If you stuck around this long, I want to say thank you for checking out my 2021 in the bag. Hopefully this was entertaining. This was a lot of fun for me to do, and it really gives you a behind the scenes look of a forehand dominant MA1 900s rated Midwest disc golfer, which really, who wouldn't want to look at that?